Hello, so happy that you're able to watch this weekly connect. I hope it helps you with your craft and with your study and preparing you to get ready to teach those kiddos this weekend. So we're going to be teaching the kids that God is faithful, and we're going to be teaching them this story right out of Joshua 1 through 6 and about the walls of Jericho. So our memory verse remains the same, 2 Timothy 1:7. And when you get into the class, you are going to play a brief game of follow the leader. Now you can do this however you'd like to do. If you want to, as the kids come in, just have them follow a certain leader doing different things around the room, you can do that. Because as I told you last week, your craft is a little bit more difficult this week. If you want to just get started and as the kids come in, have them start cutting out the pieces of their craft, you can have them do that as well. I know several of you, at least from the Thornton campus, took your craft home and you're cutting those out this week beforehand. So you won't need that extra time. But however you want to do this, if you'd like to get started on your craft, then you can have the kids start cutting out the Roman helmets. It looks like just these Roman helmets. We're going to talk about how the people of Jericho were these big, strong, battle kind of guys, and that they would wear helmets and armor and such as that. And then we're going to make a helmet that looks similar to this that the kids can put on. Okay, so that's the plan of what you're going to make. But before you do that, your opening activity is for them to play follow the leader. So you can do it, like I said, however you want. If you want them to actually play a game of it, or if you want to just go ahead and have them cut out their craft, and then as you go into the story room, have them play follow the leader, that will work too. However it works best for your classroom. So I'll leave that up to you. Then you'll go right in, after your opening time, you'll go right into the story room, and your connect question is, when was the last time you were really homesick, and where were you? So have the kids talk a little bit, get to know each other, spend a little time fellowshipping and deciding the last time that they were really homesick, and be talking about that with their friends. And then you'll start talking about the Israelites and how they were wandering in the desert for 40 years before they got to the promised land. The main thing that we want to teach the kids, and it's all in the curriculum, but we want to let them know that God is faithful. He made a promise. He told the Israelites that he had a promised land for them, that he had great land that was going to be theirs, and he was giving it to them, and that he would supply it for them, and they just needed to be obedient and follow his rules and do what he said, and he would be faithful in presenting them with the promised land. So it didn't happen in some people's time. Certainly the people, when they originally followed Moses and stuff, they thought that they were going to be able to see the promised land, but then they sinned continuously and were disobedient to God, and he finally put his foot down and said, you're not going to go see it. Anybody 20 and older is not going to see the promised land. Only the next generation will be seeing it. And he kept that promise. He was faithful, and he sent the people through the wilderness, parted the Jordan River for them, helped them to make it safely across until they got to Jericho. And then he told them that it was time for them to take over and to defeat the people who were living in Jericho. So I'm sure that they were very nervous. The Israelites were very worried. They didn't have they didn't have things to fight. They didn't have the proper materials that they thought that they needed, but God had specific instructions for them to just march around the big wall of Jericho and to just march around one time. Just march around one time and do that 6 days in a row. On the seventh day, he told them to march around 7 times and then have the priests who were in the front blow their horns, and the walls would come tumbling down. And that indeed did happen. They were obedient. They did what had to have sounded crazy, because it sounds crazy to us today, but that's how they defeated the army. The land was just given to them, and they were able to just take over because they were obedient and because God said that they would be able to, and he is faithful. He does what he says. So then you'll move into your worship and offering, and you'll give the blessing as well. The blessing this week is from Romans 12, 1 through 2. In view of God's mercy, offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. May you see God's faithfulness in your life, and may you give your entire life as a sacrifice to him in worship. May you allow God to transform you so you will know to submit to his perfect and pleasing will for your life. that is a great blessing for us to pass on to those kiddos this weekend. After the story, after the blessing and the offering and the worship, you'll go back to your rooms. As always, you'll have the reflect questions, so handle those as you will, and then you can start on your helmets or finish up your helmets, however that works. So there are step-by-step instructions of how to do these helmets. It looks overwhelming, but I did cut it all out and do it myself, and it really took me a little bit over 7 minutes. So it was simple, easy, pretty simple. And the only thing I colored though were these tassels. So the first thing you want to do is have the kids color these and then cut little slits in this. That's how you start. And then you'll take your half circle and you'll start by putting the tassel right there at the top. Okay, and you'll have glue in your room to be able to do this. Super easy. This whole thing is really easy. Then you'll take your 2 side pieces that both look like this, and you will glue them on the side. So you'll have it look just like this. Sorry, maybe I'll move back like that. There you go. So it'll be just like that. And then you will have your 2 long pieces, just long rectangles. This is how you're going to attach this around the kid's head. So you'll just put them in the back, just glue them in the back to both sides like that. So again, you'll have it on both sides just like that. Super, super easy. And then you'll have this fancy piece, which is the front. So when you put this on, you'll want to put this on a little bit different. Like you'll put it right on the end of your half circle and you'll put it on the front, and you'll kind of bend this other one and put it right on the other side. So as you can see, it's like a 3D effect. You can kind of see through it, and it's just going to be, it's going to stick out a little bit more. It looks like a helmet. And then you can put these on the kids' heads however you want them. If they want to wear them, you just wrap these around and you tape them in the back, staple them in the back, however you want to do it. And there are their helmets. And then you can just explain to them how the Israelites didn't even need these helmets. They didn't need this. All they needed was to be faithful and to do what God said. So it's a super cute craft. The kids can color them, do whatever they want with it. And it really is easy. Looks like a lot, but it's not. It's pretty easy. And then your Bible work for next week, you don't have a lot of Bible work because next week is our review week. So we're going to be having a fun day of spreading the gospel, teaching the kids the gospel, which each of you will do in your classrooms, and then doing a Bible review game, which we will be playing Zonk all together in the story room. So super fun fellowship and gospel presentation week next week. So prepare your hearts for that. So we thank you very much for watching this. I hope that this helped you with your lesson. And if you have any questions, call your campus supervisor, or you can just email me, and I will be happy to explain anything that you need help with. So thanks so much, and enjoy yourselves.